Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so Donald Trump on Saturday night, victory speech. But I was much more interested to hear from Trump surrogates, perhaps his two best surrogates. One is his lovely wife, Melania.
Just want to say an amazing place, South Carolina. Congratulations to my husband. He was working very hard, and he loves you. We love you. And we're going ahead to Nevada, and we will see what happens. He would be the best president.
She's easy on the eyes, I'll tell you that. She is a stunningly gorgeous woman.
Calm down over there. Take it easy.
Well,
Keep it together.
But his daughter is quite impressive, Ivanka. I mean, I would like to see her run for president someday.
Well, she's another lovely surrogate, his daughter Ivanka, yes, and she had this to say.
Thank you, South Carolina. This is an amazing, amazing night. The momentum since the beginning of this campaign has been unbelievable, and that's because my father's message resonates so deeply with so many people. So as our family, we're incredibly proud. We're incredibly grateful to each of you, so thank you for being here to support us. And I will say this, my father is an incredibly hard worker, and he'll be working for each and every one of you. So together, we'll make America great again.
Yeah, she's sharp. And now here's my only quibble with the Trump campaign and Donald. I sense an anti-male bias.
Oh, please.
Where's Eric? Where's Don Jr. with a turn at the wheel to address the crowd?
They're not as good as the ladies. Come on.
Clearly. All right, another lady who represents the Trump campaign is Katrina Pierson. She is the Donald Trump campaign national spokesperson, and she joins us now. Katrina, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. Great to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So you come off victories in New Hampshire, South Carolina. You're up big in Nevada, caucus tomorrow, and looking pretty good for Super Tuesday. So is this going to be a runaway? Is Donald Trump going to run away with the nomination effectively?
Well, I sure hope so. As you'd mentioned, those are some pretty big wins and across the board support in all buckets of Republicans and even some crossovers. And so I suspect we'll continue to see that in Nevada and moving forward.
Now, Donald Trump was on with George Stephanopoulos on This Week and was questioning Marco Rubio's eligibility. Is this just another ploy to get some free publicity? Because Marco Rubio was born in Miami. I mean, do you believe he's an American citizen?
Well, I think what's happening is you have a lot of people out there who are really, really stuck on having a president that's natural born. And yes, definitely, Marco Rubio was born here in the United States. His parents, however, were not. So that's really what's in question. So when Mr. Trump is asked about it, he simply just tells what he knows. Marco Rubio is a United States citizen. There's a lot of questions on whether or not he's naturalized because neither of his parents weren't.
So,
Wow.
The thing that people respond to, and maybe not non-Trump supporters, I suppose, respond to with this kind of questioning Cruz's status to run for president, now questioning Rubio's status to run for president. Two things. One is Donald Trump's weighed in on Cruz before. First, he had no problem with it. Then Cruz bubbled up in the polls. Then he had a problem with it and started raising these questions you described. Now he never mentioned anything about Rubio's qualification to run for president. Now Rubio bubbles up, has a nice second-place finish in South Carolina, and the questions start. These questions about their qualifications to run of Cruz and Rubio, kind of politically driven and rather convenient rather than based on any concern about constitutional qualification?
Well, I think they're really driven by media. As you'll recall, Mr. Trump has said previously with regard to Senator Cruz that, he talked to Senator Cruz. Senator Cruz said his lawyers were fine and he was fine. The question really didn't become a problem until he was asked by the media, the Washington Post, at a rope line, on what he thought about the lawsuit that Alan Grayson filed. So that's exactly where the conversation came up with Ted Cruz, and then Ted Cruz went after Donald Trump for responding to the question. And, of course, Donald Trump is not just going to sit there and be quiet when he's being attacked. So, this came up because of a media question as well.
But it's one thing to not to respond. That's fine. But it's another thing to say, if Ted Cruz doesn't apologize to me in what he said in the South Carolina debate, I'm going to sue him. And then send a demand letter to that effect.
Well, yes, because we also know now that the North American Law Center has done some research and has requested citizenship records regarding Senator Cruz, and Senator Cruz had his records sealed. So now we know that there is no documentation proving that the senator is a citizen because his parents showed up on a voter roll in Canada. So now there are other questions being raised as others have filed lawsuits.
Are you going to go after Ben Carson, maybe John Kasich next about their citizenship?
Well, no, they are citizens. There's no question about their naturalization in the country. And
wait a minute. Weren't Donald Trump's parents born in Scotland?
His mom was.
Well, his mom was.
His mom was. But see, there are different citizenship requirements with regard to naturalization versus citizenship. That's the question here with some of the other candidates. John Kasich, Ben Carson, not so much. However, if either one of them do go after Donald Trump, he's a counterpuncher.
Let's move on beyond the citizenship issues for a minute. Part of the challenge I think some people have who appreciate some of what Donald Trump is saying, appreciate his brashness, the fact that he's not bound by political correctness. That's so kind of suffocating in this day and age. But some of the problem they have is his evolution, to be generous, on the range of issues from the life issue to guns to healthcare policy. And I wonder if you could explain or offer one example where Donald Trump has moved from a position he previously held to a position he currently holds, and what the basis of that change of opinion was, what the conversion story on any issue where he's moved is.
Oh, sure. A lot of this stuff does come from an interview that was 17 years ago. And I think we'll all agree that in 17 years, several people change on a lot of issues. But the one that he does talk about most is the life issue. He was pro-choice in the past, and he talks about a couple of experiences, one specifically where he had a friend that was having to go through the same sort of discussion around abortion, and they decided not to do it and had the child. And he has grown with this family and that child, and that has what's changed his position on the life issue. He is very much pro-life. And with regard to pro-gun, I mean, he talks about being in the state of New York, which is a very difficult gun state, and having a carry conceal, being a member of the NRA. His boys go hunting every other week, it seems. And so he has evolved on some of those issues, and that should be okay, particularly when we're trying to grow the Republican Party and be welcoming and have a bigger tent for those who have changed on issues along the way as well.
All right, so Donald Trump had back-to-back primary wins. He's, predicted to win Nevada as well. Any talk yet in his inner circle, and are you privy to any information about who he might choose as a running mate down the road?
No, actually. Mr. Trump hasn't really talked about that. The campaign itself, we are focused on getting through the primary. We are attacked on all sides from every angle in all parties, and so we're really focused on trying to get his message out there, trying to push his policies out there, and we really haven't discussed who a possible running mate might be.
For him? Well, who do you think, Katrina, would be a good running mate? Who would secure him a spot in the White House?
Jeb Bush is available.
Well, Jeb Bush is available. I'm not quite sure because it seems every month there are different issues that are extremely important to voters, it seems. And so I guess when it comes down to having to make that decision, we will look back at this last year and figure out who might help with the ticket moving forward. Surely it sounds like it's going to be Hillary Clinton we're up against, and I'm sure that is going to be a factor, who is going to be at the bottom of their ticket as well. So we'll have to wait and see.
We're talking to Katrina Pierson. She's the national spokesperson for the Donald Trump presidential campaign. Katrina, what's it like to work for Donald Trump?
It is the most amazing thing that you could ever imagine. Mr. Trump is such a great boss. I know on TV he comes across as brash, but he is very nice. He's very down to earth. He loves people more than I've ever seen in my life, which is why he gives Secret Service a heart attack every time there's a crowd around. And he's a very genuine person. When he says things like, I have a heart, he truly means that. He has done so many things for so many people that he never talks about. And if the world knew just how kind and generous he was, they would see him in a whole different light.
All right. She is Katrina Pierson, national spokesperson for the Donald Trump for President campaign. Katrina, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be here. Thanks, guys.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning.